Okay, so now that we have a general idea what files and folders are included in a typical Laravel project, let's look at routing and controllers. So first, let's open the web.php file in the route folder. And here is where we will find all the different routes for the application. You can think of this file as the file where you put all the different URLs you have in your application. So these are routes that you will access from the browser. So by default, Laravel generates this welcome page. So to create a route, we have this route helper. We use this get method, or we can use post, delete, and others. And we use the first parameter should be the URL or the URI. In this case, it will be a slash or home. And the second parameter will be a callback, which is an anonymous function that will return the code that we want to show in the browser. So in this case, we are returning the welcome template, but let's change this to return a string. And if we refresh here, we should see hello world. And there's actually another syntax to return a view. It should be route view slash and the name of the template, which is welcome. And you should see the same HTML that we had before, which is this Laravel page. Okay, so let's say we have a different URL than the home page. We can do something like this. Say hello. And if we go to the browser, we should type hello and see the same page. Okay, so that's if you have like something extra in the URL. And you can actually return HTML from here. So let's create a h1 tag. And refresh. And we can see it returns the HTML with the proper h1 tag. Okay, so now let's say we have another page for the profile for a user. So let's type here equals 6000. And check that in the browser. Okay, so what if we want to have a template for this page? Okay, so now let's create a new file in the resources, a new folder, sorry, in the resources views, called user, and there we can create a new file called profile.blade.php, which will be the template. And now let's go to the editor and open that file, and we will simply create an h1 tag here, and save it. But let me see something. We actually need to return that template from here. So let's use the same syntax here. And refresh the page. And this work. So what we're doing here is saying that we return a view from the folder user, and the name of the template will be profile. And we can use another syntax, which is a slash, and should work the same way. But I think the dot syntax looks better. And something else I forgot to mention is that you can pass parameters to the view, to the URL, sorry. So you type here name, and you pass the same variable to the function. And here I need to change this to double quotes, so I can echo the name here. And now if we go to hello, I can use the variable here. Okay, so this is not hello, it should be hello. Okay, so now let's try one more thing. Let's use a controller, because you will never return a view from your route. You usually just create a controller, and in the controller you add all the logic you need to process that URL and return the view. So let's comment this out. Should be route get slash the parameter, which will be username, and the name of the route, which will be passed as an array. We will call this user controller, and the name of the method will be profile. And we need to add the namespace for that controller. That will be use app http controllers and user controller. And now let's generate that controller. And to generate the controller, we will use artisan. So there's something I forgot to mention in the previous video, and instead of using the default path for accessing the sale binary like this, we can create an alias, so we don't have to type all this, instead just type sale. So if we go to the documentation for sale, we can find that alias here. So we just copy this, and if we paste that command from the console, now we can just type sale, and it should run sale. Now you have access to the binary without typing all the path for the binary. But if you want to persist this alias, you should add it to your bash rc file. In my case, I have a file called aliases, and this is the file that I use to add all my aliases for this machine. And I load this file from the bash rc file. But you can just add this directly to your bash rc file. Okay. So now that we have that command, we should be able to type sale artisan, and here we should have a command to generate the controller, which is this one, and we will call all controller user controller. And now we should have a new file. User controller. And in here is where we create the method profile. So we regenerate the view for the profile. So let's do that. Should be a public function. Let's call that profile. And we will return the profile view, which is located in the user folder and it's called profile. Okay, now that we have our controller and the route is mapped to that controller, let's try that on the browser, and it worked. And something important to mention is that in previous versions of Laravel, the syntax was different. It was something like this, username, but the syntax for the controller was a string. So here you had the controller, add, and the name of the method. Instead of this, let's comment this out. But if we try to use that syntax in this version of Laravel, which is at the moment of recording video is the latest one, 8.54, you will get this error: target class user controller does not exist. So if we wanted to use that syntax, what we can do is go to the route service provider. Here on line 29, we should have this protected namespace variable. So we can uncomment that line out, and we can refresh here, and then this works. And the reason to use this new syntax is that the editors can link back to your original controller class. But in the case of using the string, that is not possible. So it's up to the developer or the team to decide what syntax to use. But for this tutorial, we will be using the new syntax. And if you like to follow the Laravel naming conventions, there's a link I will leave in the description down below. And there you will find the different conventions. For naming the controller, you should use singular. For the routes, you should use plural for the resources. And there are so many others here, so this is very interesting if you wanna keep things consistent. Okay, so that's it for this video. In the next one, we will look at Blade templates. So if this video was helpful, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching. Bye.